Hi y'all, welcome back to my shop. Who doesn't love turning a nice bowl? Maybe you've turned a few. Now it's time to kick it up a notch. In this video I want to show you some design aspects of just focusing in on one aspect of designing a bowl, and that's how we turn the rim, how we decorate that rim with a number of different techniques. If you're interested in kicking your bowls up a notch, keep watching.
First, let's look at the basic shape of a basic flat rim, which I use on a lot of bowls, such as this hickory salad bowl. It works on twice turn bowls or once turn bowls. Here's an example of an ash bowl with a nice flat square rim. Some bowls, by the nature of the coloring, for example, spalting as shown on this oak bowl, doesn't need any additional adornment than the flat rim. Some spalted woods might be a little punky, so maybe you don't want to do anything else other than a flat rim. But here's another example of a sweet gum bowl with a flat rim. Here's an example of a organic once turned bowl, and a flat rim worked just fine on it. It's got a fairly thin rim, and on thin bowls, sometimes flat or round is a good example. Here's an example of a thin square bowl with flat rim. Now let's look at the next shape, which are beaded rims. There's any number of varieties, such as this walnut bowl, and here's one where a maple bowl where I put beads all around the side and all the way up across the top. Now let me show you a short video clip of the tools I use, how I make beads on the rim.
Let me demonstrate one of my favorite beading patterns with this 6-inch Bradford pear bowl. This was rough turned about 10 years ago. I'm going to use my pyramid or point tool. I'll have a video up here if you're interested in learning how to make one. It's a very easy tool to make, very easy tool to use. I'm just going to come in here and mark the bead about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so wide. I'm going to drop the tool rest just a little bit. This pyramid tool's got 3 sides to it, 3 scrapers, so I'm just going to round over this inside edge a little bit. Now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to drop the handle and rotate it over. Like that. Come back and get this a little bit. And that's pretty much got it. Now sometimes I will come in and undercut to the rim, and I think I'll do that this time because I tend to like that pattern a little bit better. So I'm going to use again 3/8 inch bowl gouge and just come in and just bring it on down into the base of that bead. Like so. Now all I've got to do is sand it. The other beading technique is using a beading tool such as this one by D-Way. It's got a very thin flute based on the size of the bead. In this case it's 1/8 of an inch. You sharpen it by just honing the top like that. It takes so little effort you don't even need to put a handle on it. So let me show you how that works. We're bringing this close. You need to be able to drop the handle. Let me lower the tool rest a little bit. I'm going to have the right fang just at the edge, and then I'm just going to lift it up and rock it a little bit from side to side. And there we have it. Then we put the next bead, we put that fang right into that slot. Lift it up, rock it from side to side. And so on. Now this technique doesn't necessarily work a lot better than this tool for making a bead, but what it does do is makes it easier to make beads exactly the same size. That's especially important if you're doing, for example, a basket or illusion or something where, every one of them's got to be the same. You can get these in different sizes. If you want to see more depth, I've got a review of this tool link here in your right hand corner.
And a few more additional beaded bowls, a couple of little small square bowls with beads on it. Here's one with textured on the side but a small bead on top, and then this bowl from a beautiful piece of koa wood with a rounded bead all the way around. Now let's look at some natural edge bowls. This is an ingrained cherry bowl, and of course that's intrinsic into the design of how you made the bowl. Here's another natural edge bowl. Banana bowl with leaving the bark on it, which is an interesting wrinkle. Here's one where the bark came off and you just color the edge with dye or paint. Here's two more similar like that, one painted rim and one not. And then of course there's always a burl with the natural edge of the burl on it. Of course there's always the live edge winged bowl where, you know, the actual bowl here, most of my designs are flat, but the actual rim of bark around the edge gives these bowls certainly a distinctive look, and I'd call that part of their rim treatment, such as this walnut bowl. One of my favorite treatments is texturing the rim, and I've got several different texturing tools. Here's an example of a small bowl. Here's one where I turned a bowl from a board and textured around the rim. This one I textured actually on the outside of the bowl. I just want to show it to you because it's such a beautiful one. One of my favorite little projects is turning these tiny little ring bowls. They're only about 3 inches across, and I use a Dremel burr tool for that. Let me demonstrate how I make that decorated rim.
And then what I like to do for these kind of bowls is add a little texturing here. So I'm going to use this little cove tool and make a little recess for the texturing tool to go in. Switch tool rest, get in there a little closer. Use a small one. Reverse it so I can get in there. Okay. Just slow the speed down a little bit to no more than about 500 or so. Yeah, I've got a nice little groove there now. And then I want to put a little bit of a point. I'm going to use this point tool. I'm going to raise this tool up a little bit. Tool rest. Just frame this decoration a little bit. That looks good. Maybe I'll just line this over a little bit here. There's our nice little ring bowl.
Here's a little dogwood bowl where I decorated the outside with a texturing tool. Let me show you some examples of how far you can go with the texturing. These are not my examples. These are from Eugene Schlack, who really learned how to get a lot out of the Sorby texturing tools. He added color and multiple textures, a wide variety. I like the slope of the bowl. I textured it and then put a little bead on each side or a V-groove to accentuate the texturing, to frame it, so to speak. I suppose a variation of textured rim would be one that's hand carved. I don't have a power carver. I'm using hand carved tools, still experimenting with it. But here's an example of a bowl that I cut. It doesn't take long once you get the hang of it. Here's a cherry one. The other one was poplar. Just using the tools and carving on the rim. You have to have a way of holding it though. This is not technically a bowl, but it shows an interesting wavy rim feature. Here's an ebonized oak bowl with a carved rim. Another rim variation is a painted or dyed rim, such as this oak bowl. Here's one where I colored it with Josanja iridescent paints. It's a really interesting technique where you can use multiple colors, and then the light changes, the colors change as the light hits it. So a very interesting technique. I need to use this, experiment with this more. And a variation of dyeing or painting is actually pyrography, putting a design around the rim. Interesting technique.
Okay, I've got the rim painted. Now while I'm waiting for that acrylic to dry, let me show you another technique that's similar to decorating along the rim of a bowl. And that's this bowl I did at a class at John C. Campbell Folk School, where we turned a OG bowl out of cherry, made a wide rim that's kind of a flat area with a little bead on each side. And then we used a gel, an acrylic gel from Golden, that you applied in there with a sponge, giving it a texture. And then when it dried, you put a black background, and then you use dry brushing techniques for different colors, and it makes for a beautiful finish. I was excited about it after that class, and I went and ordered some of this stuff, and it's been on the shelf for a number of years, as I've never made another one of these bowls, but I probably will.
Here's another example of an inlaid bowl, but in this case with pieces of wooden veneer. This is not my bowl. I picked this up at a empty bowls event. I picked it up and I couldn't set it down. I just had to buy it. So beautiful. And just a couple more examples here of an overflowing bowl rim. And here's a design by my bowl based on a design by Matt Monaco, or Matt Monaco style, I guess you could say.
Well, I hope this video gave you some ideas on how to kick your bowl up a notch. Your comments are important to me, so please leave them in the comment section below. Just want to remind you, I love teaching. I wouldn't be making these videos. But I teach lessons one-on-one in my shop in the Atlanta area. So if you're interested, if you live here, you're traveling through, visiting relatives or something, contact me. The information's on my website. And remember, y'all stay safe. Come on back, you hear?